Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to do our Hollandaise cooking class. So let's begin. So we're going to make some poached eggs, some Hollandaise sauce. We're not going to do it the traditional way. The traditional way is a little bit different. This one's a bit easier for you at home and it holds better and it has a better consistency, I think. Don't tell any French people I said that, they'll get really upset. Alright, so what we need is we've got some normal table salt, we've got some Himalayan salt, doesn't really matter, salt for you, depends if you've got some really nice stuff, this is good. We got some pepper, some eggs, got some vegetable oil. I mean, you can use any kind of vegetable oil. My favourite is the grapeseed oil. It has a really neutral kind of flavour to it. We got some white wine vinegar, and I'm going to put some bacon, avocado, and some rocket on mine. So to begin with, we need to do three things. We need to, let's put this here. We need to melt our butter for hey Jared. So I've got about 500 grams of butter, and I'm going to need about half of this, a little bit less than half I would say. Chop it up in the cubes. We're going to throw it in a little cup so we can melt it down. You can put it in a saucepan and melt it down, but I'm going to just bung it in the microwave. Probably only takes about 40 seconds. You don't want to burn the butter, so you just want to melt it. We need to melt it so that way it splits. The next thing we need to do is get some water. So a lot of people, when they make poached eggs, and you see heaps of recipes, they use it in a little saucepan and they make these little shallow poached eggs, or they put it in a small little saucepan. The trick is you want a lot of water in yours. The reason being is when you put your egg in, the temperature of the water doesn't cool down straight away. It actually retains its heat. So that way you get these perfect little poached eggs. You don't need to glad wrap it in little parcels so it looks like bowls. Just make sure you have lots of water and on the stove. So in mine I have about 4 litres. Hey Plappy. So what we got here is probably about 4 or 5 litres. We'll need to put a lid on it because it'll take a little while. And then we need to make the water acidic so that way it affects with the proteins and the alkaline of the eggs. You can use all kind of different vinegars, but I find the best one for this is the standard white wine vinegar. You probably need about half a cup for this. And what it does is it affects the proteins of the eggs, and it holds it straight away. As soon as the egg touches it, it'll set into place. Alright, so the next thing I've already done is I've already cooked some bacon because I'm going to stick bacon on mine. The best way to cook bacon, really, is to not just throw it in a pan because the sugars in it sticks to the bottom. Best way is to put it on a tray, stick it in the oven, put it on the grill, and you get these perfect crispy bacon with no fuss and no mess. Alright, so we're going to start on our Hollandaise sauce. So traditionally we need to make what they call a savion. Well, it's kind of like a savion. And what we need to do is get some eggs. So we're kind of making a cooked mayonnaise really, and that's why it's kind of tricky. But once you see this, you'll find it's not very tricky at all. So we need to separate the eggs. So we're gonna, in this recipe we'll do about 3, you'll probably get 3 to 4 serves out of this. 2. If you got any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Alright, so we got our 3 egg yolks. Let's get this into place. And then we need to put some white wine vinegar. Traditionally, they make a vinegar reduction, so you get some white wine vinegar, you put it in a saucepan with some peppercorns, bay leaves, I think thyme and tarragon. You reduce it and you put it in a bottle, and that adds additional flavour to it, but I don't find it makes that much of a difference. And if you're going to just do it at home, it's not really a big deal. Alright, so I need to find a whisk. I think my kids has taken my whisk and it's in the bathroom or probably out the back somewhere, so I don't know where they put my whisk. So anyway, I'll just use this for now. So whisk this up. We need to add some salt. Whenever you're making a mayonnaise or a hollandaise or any kind of emulsification, I find adding salt at the start is really important. I'm not exactly sure the science behind it, but from my experience, you put salt at the start, it helps emulsify a lot better than not using it. Alright, I'll look that up. Or ask one of my geeky science chef friends. Okay, so once we got that, we got a little bit of warm water. Well, it's going to be hot water. We only need a little bit. So this is kind of like it's what they call a bain-marie. So we got a little bit of water, we're creating a bit of steam, and what we're doing, we put a heat-proof bowl through it, and we'll cook it gently with this. You don't want the bottom of this pan to be touching any water, because it'll turn this into a really disgusting tasting scrambled eggs. You just want it to warm through while you're consistently whisking it. So when you're working in the busy cafes or the big hotels, you're making 30, 40 egg yolks, and you got to whisk it all by hand. You really sweat out the hangover. This whisk is exactly the best for the job. Yeah, it's Joseph. You get a good workout. So you don't need to get up in the morning and go for your run or go to the gym. This is your workout. And because we are shoving a fair bit of fat and oil in this, it might be a good workout for you. I mean, if you have one of those hand blenders, and I know we have one somewhere, but I'm not sure where it's gone. That's an effective way of doing it. So you can see it's starting to get really creamy. Can you see? And it's starting to thicken. And that's what you want. And it doesn't take long when it's only about 3 eggs. And the way to tell whether it's ready or not is it forms a figure 8. So when you pull it out, you can make a figure 8, and it'll hold by the time you've done a full number 8, and it still holds up. This is just under. So that's perfect. Look at that. That's how you tell. You get this lovely figure 8 going. All right. That's done. Now what we need to do is take it over here. Now traditionally what you would do is you start adding your butter, your melted butter, which is here, it's in the microwave. You see how it's melted and it's split. So that way the butter fat, the ghee, is on top, and the buttermilk is on the bottom. You do not want the butter fat or the buttermilk on the bottom. You just want the fatty goodness on top. Now, normally you can at home. Now, here's a little trick. What you do is you get a tea towel, you roll it, and you make a little nest, like so, and then you put your bowl in it and it holds it for you. Now from here, we start incorporating the butter. And let's see, kind of, here we go. We can kind of see, so we start incorporating the fat, but little by little. If you do too much at a time, it'll go. Now, in hotels or places, or when you're doing big batches, or if you're really lazy, I just throw it in a Robocook, or use one of those hand blenders. But since it's only a small batch and I'm enjoying my workout, we're just going to do it by hand because it's only quite small, so it doesn't take much. And you just incorporate bit by bit. So you probably add about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons at a time. You whisk it until it's all gone. It's really incorporated, and you get this lovely deliciousness. Remember, the more ghee or the butter fat you add to this, the thicker it's going to get. So you can control the thickness of it and how thick you like to have it. Oh, getting too old for this. I need to get an apprentice to come here and do this one. Alright, so there you go. There's your hollandaise sauce. Now here's something I do, and the traditionalist chefs will hate me for it. They get really angry. Chef's getting angry. I add a little bit of oil. Now you got to be really careful what kind of oil you add to this. A basic vegetable canola oil can be good, but I find these the grapeseed oil has a very neutral taste, so you don't taste it. But if you go and do something like olive oil or something like that, it'll affect the taste. It's quite strong. But we've tried a few times of trying things like infusion oils, like garlic infusion oils, chili infusion oils, tarragon. You can add it to it and it will actually flavour your hollandaise, and it's quite nice. I like to add a bit of oil to it because what it does is kind of gives it this shiny gloss to it. And it seems to help hold it better as well. It improves the stability of hollandaise. Now, this you cannot put in the fridge. You can't store it in the fridge because what happens is the butter fat will solidify again and it'll split your whole thing. So this can really, you can sit it out on the bench, but you don't want to have it for much longer than a day. So it's one of those things that you have to make on a day-to-day basis. But what you could do is you put some cling film over the top, and you're just going to make sure you put it on top because it'll create a skin if you leave it for too long. What we can do is you can have this for breakfast, and then for dinner you can probably have it on your steak or on your chicken. It goes great with prawns. Alright, so there's your hollandaise. We're going to start working on your perfect poached eggs. Alright, here we go. Like what I was saying before with the poached eggs, a lot of people, they use these pans and they do this swirling thing. Yeah, don't worry about it. None of it is really important. There's only 3 things that's really important when you're making your poached eggs. 1, your eggs need to be fresh. When you have fresh eggs, it has more of it. I'll give you an example. So as an egg ages, you'll get more of this watery stuff. And when they're fresh, you got this kind of snotty, thick bit around the yolk. So as the egg gets older and older, there'll be less of this thick bit and there'll be more of this watery bit. So when you put this in water, this will just turn into this kind of weird fluffy fluff that's kind of useless and kind of gross. But this part will create a crust and it would be these perfect little droplets of goodness. So, the water, so we've got some vinegar. The other thing you need to make sure is, like I said, you need a lot of water. Because if you only have a litre of water, you put cold eggs in there, it's going to cool down the water straight away and it'll take a little bit longer to heat. But if you've got a lot of water, it's more efficient. If you're in a hurry in the morning, just put the kettle on, fill it up, and then you pour it in and you'll get a lot. So what we'll do is now, you see how it's kind of bubbling? It's almost like lemonade. So that is perfect. So what we do now, we'll crack our eggs in. We'll put this one in as well. Let's go 3 because I like my eggs. And perfect. And then you just leave it. What it will do is it will slowly float up to the top. If you want to speed things up, we can put a lid on. While we're waiting for that, we can plate up. If you're doing it as well at home, you can plate up what you're going to put it on. I'm going to do an avocado. So we've got an avocado, twist, scoop this out. We got some rockets. I mean, you can stick whatever you want with this. I've got smoked salmon's really good. Just trying out these new Melaleuca salmon from New Zealand, and it's amazing. A bit expensive, but you wouldn't eat it every day unless you're really wealthy. Some bacon with mine, crispy bacon goodness. And this is ready to go. Alright. Actually, maybe even some tomatoes. Oh, if we have any. Now, this is a bit weird. Kimchi. It's like a fermented Korean cabbage. It's kind of made out of chilies and stuff. It's really good for you. It's pretty strong though. It's like a condiment. Alright, poached eggs. Let's have a look. Ta-da! And that's what you want it to do, is just kind of simmer. You don't want it rapid boiling, you don't want to be chucking it everywhere. You want it to be just simmering. Now, get yourself a slotted spoon. I'll wash the plate that I put the eggs on. And you'll feel these eggs, and you'll notice how it's kind of still goobly, but they're not quite ready. See how they're like perfect little balls of poachy goodness. They need a little bit longer. See, with eggs, you want it to cook slowly. The reason being is once proteins go past 70, 80 degrees, it goes hard and turns into rubber. So when your eggs are cooked gently, it stays soft and silky and good. So you want to avoid that harsh heat on eggs. The proteins just don't like it. Yeah. You'll be able to make this now, Karen. Alright, we're almost there. You can stick your finger on it and it'll kind of wobble back. It depends on how you want it. One of the things I do find with poached eggs, you always need to pull it out just a little bit before you think it's perfect, because it'll keep cooking and it always seems, yeah, it's hard to explain. It's what you think is, it's still a little bit undercooked, is often right on cooked. It just takes experimenting. Like for this, if you were only getting 2 poached eggs, you could probably make 3, pull one out, test it, see if it's alright, and if it's no good, then you got the other 2 that's perfect, or you can eat the 3rd one, or you give it to somebody who likes them really soft. Alright, I think these are pretty cool. These are pretty on top of it. Let's get you a little bit more. Oh, that's better. See it a bit better. There we go. Alright, so here's our poachies. That's one. I just put it on a plate. I see lots of recipes and people, they put it on, I guess you can put it on a strainer or a towel and everything, but you don't really need that. It's just a waste of a towel, I think. Just more washing for your wife. Doesn't make her happy. So here's my little perfect poached eggs. Look at them. They're amazing. Oh my God. Alright. We got our poached eggs. I'm going to have 3 on mine. My bacon, avo, and the ultimate. We got our Hollandaise sauce. So when you can get your Hollandaise sauce out, you need to give it a bit of a whisk again. Have a taste. Might need to add a bit more salt. Sometimes it's really cool to put some fresh lemon, a wedge of fresh lemon, and it just kind of brings out this, the word's not right, like a freshness. It kind of gives this lovely zing, and this kind of just really pops out. There we go. Look at that. Alright, let's get you down here a bit more. Alright, so we got our avocado, we got our bacon, we got our perfect poach, and then we, as the French would say, lap it on, and lap it on, and lap it on. Oh yeah. And then with a bit of cracked pepper. Alright, that's right. Alright, docket's there, and there it is. So let's crack one open and see. Here we go. Oh yeah, that is so good. And they're just lovely. Some avocado. Alright, I'm going to sit down and eat this. Hope you guys had a go. If not, try it again. Have a go. And if you've got any questions, you just get in touch with me on Home Cooking Coach. I'll answer any questions. I'm happy to answer whatever you want to know about it, or if you're having any struggles, give us a message and I'll help you with it. What else? I'll put in a link. I have a free book that you can read. It's about how to make home cooking easier. So all the little tricks and tips that us chefs use to make your cooking at home easier, because time is really busy and we got kids and all that kind of life trying to get us through. we're very limited to time and when to be able to cook at home. So it's a cool little book. I'll put a link into the messages and you can have it for free. Alright, well if you've got any questions, love to hear from you. Thanks for coming, guys. See you next time. Maybe, oh actually next week we're thinking about doing rice paper rolls. So if you like rice paper Vietnamese rolls, we're going to make some prawn ones, beef ones, maybe some fruit ones as well. So if you want to try. Thanks Joseph, thanks guys, thanks Jared. See you next time.